Hey, on the show this week, we have Jeff Arnold from NATMI, North American Transportation Management Institute. Let's get right into the show. Welcome to the Dawg on It Trucking Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Harris, Safety Dawg. And when it comes to trucking safety, the Dawg is on it. Please, if you would show your appreciation for the podcast by leaving a thumbs up, a comment, a rating, it would help me so much raise the profile of this show and bring it and make it available to even more listeners, which I appreciate you. Now, let's get on with the show. Jeff Arnold, welcome to the Dawg on It Trucking Show. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, this is it's wonderful to have guests like you. I've been a proponent, is that the right word, for NATMI for many, many years.
Yes, indeed.
And I guess it started with Great West Casualty, the insurance company, the Canadian arm up here. I got sent down. I actually did my CDS at in Denver at the Colorado Trucking Association.
Ah, okay. So right here locally.
Way back when. So, Jeff, tell us a bit about yourself.
So I am the executive director of the North American Transportation Management Institute, which I've a role I've been playing since 1994, when at the time the organization was under the auspices of the American Trucking Associations. It's a standalone organization. We do operate again with fiduciary responsibility with the Truckload Carriers Association, but I've been overseeing the daily operations of NATMI throughout the U.S. and Canada for, gosh, it's over 25 years now. So time flies.
It does, and I'm going to ask you a skill testing question.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember the year that NATMI came to Canada?
I believe it was 2006 or 2005, somewhere in that time frame.
I don't know why I've got 2005 in my mind, but yes. So it's been, what does that make it? Like 15 years?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Congrats.
Yeah, time flies. Thank you. Yes, it was a goal of ours for a number of years. In fact, we changed our name to the North American Transportation Management Institute. It had a different name prior for a number of years in 1997, with the express goal of expanding into Canada and perhaps Mexico at some point.
I was just going to ask, is there any hope or desire to go down to Mexico?
Yes, on both of those counts. We do hope to do that at some point. We do have bilingual instructors already that could do that, and we would just need to sort of a local truck. There is an organization called, I believe it's Canacar in Mexico, which is the equivalent of Transport, not Transport Canada, but the Canadian Trucking Alliance, right, or the American Trucking Associations. Same kind of an organization.
So you could align yourself with them potentially and expand.
Absolutely.
Well, during February and March, if you need an instructor for Mexico,
you're on it?
Yeah.
Can you speak Spanish?
No.
Well, that may be a problem then.
Damn, because I'd love to get away from the Canadian winter.
Yes, I understand.
Well, living...
But, and I will happily join you. We'll have to find somebody who can actually teach the class.
Darn. Well, if you need any help setting it up, if you actually had to go down to Mexico, during the winter months.
Sure. You'll help me out.
I volunteer.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. You're just thinking of us, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and speaking of NATMI, what is NATMI and what are some of the benefits of NATMI?
Yeah, you bet. NATMI is the North American Transportation Management Institute. That's what the acronym stands for. It's the leading certification and training organization for transportation professionals in North America. And we provide internationally recognized university accredited training and certification programs and professional certification for truck and bus fleet management professionals. So we've got 5 different certification designations that we offer.
Right.
The Certified Director of Safety, and which is for those who are the full-time administrator of safety for their companies. We have a Certified Director of Maintenance and Equipment for maintenance directors of trucking companies. And we have a Certified Driver Trainer designation as well for driver trainers, obviously. And each of the safety and the maintenance designations both have a supervisor level designation as well. For the line level supervisor, there's the Certified Safety Supervisor and the Certified Supervisor of Maintenance and Equipment. And then there's another certification that we offer in conjunction with the American Trucking Associations. That's the Certified Cargo Security Professional designation. And individuals applying for that can go through either us or ATA.
I was going to say there's even more though. Are there not other online courses that are offered through NATMI?
Indeed, yeah. We do have an online institute, and it focuses primarily on regulatory compliance, mostly on the U.S. regulations. There's also some workers' comp and human resources related courses that are on that online institute that we offer as well. And we have a number of professional development courses that go beyond the safety certification and the certification related courses that are just for professional development. So courses like accident investigation, hazardous materials or dangerous goods transportation, and driver retention as well. We also offer the CVSA inspection familiarization course, which we do through CVSA in partnership with them for those who are interested in that particular program as well.
Yeah, because I see a lot of the online, it's not just the certification courses, there's a lot of other educational courses there as well.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
But if I wanted to be certified, what would some of the benefits be of achieving my certification?
So that's a great question.
Well, thank you.
So individually, from an individual standpoint, there's a lot of different benefits. As a professional in the industry, you are trying to develop a professional reputation, and that reputation you may have on your resume, the people who know you know how well you maybe do your job in the industry, people who have a personal understanding of your background. But those who don't, people who are have never come in contact with you, may not know necessarily your level of professionalism and your professional background. So the certification offers an objective third-party perspective on your professionalism, which is recognized in courtroom testimony. A lot of our folks who get certified do it because they do expert witness testimony in court cases,
right,
when there's a vehicle accident. And the credentials are often queried in courtroom testimony, and it helps you to establish yourself as a expert witness and demonstrates your professionalism from an objective third-party standpoint versus just your the what you may proclaim yourself. You've got another outside party that helps provide that credibility.
Well, I think
from
sorry, I was going to say, I think that's why it's so important that the certification isn't a piece of paper that comes from NATMI. It comes from who?
Right. So we work with the University of Central Florida as a third-party administrator, and we've been working in conjunction with universities since the beginning. Actually, NATMI is an organization that's been around a long time, since 1944, and we actually started as a university program at Penn State, and it's always been associated with universities in that entire history. And our affiliation with the university as a third-party administrator allows us to have an objective third party administer the certification exams, the grants, the continuing education units and certification designations, and also oversee the certification process. The advantage there being that when you have a third-party university administrator, there can be no question as to the credibility of the credential. If we were, because we work in the industry and we have members from all these large different companies, somebody could say, well, so-and-so is a large company, they pay you a lot of money, so that's why you gave that guy the credential who didn't really deserve it, And we say, look, the university doesn't care what company these people come from.
And the university, they probably don't even know the companies.
No, probably not, and they don't, so they've got no skin in the game per se on who gets certified and who doesn't. And so you can know that when a certification is issued, it is because somebody either has or has not met the criteria.
Yeah, and I think that's huge. And I mean, that I have my CDS, Certified Director of Safety from NATMI, and
right.
I have had the experience of working with lawyers. I haven't been recognized yet as an expert witness. I don't know if it works the same in the States. I would imagine it does. Here in Canada, the court has to recognize me as an expert witness because I don't have, like an engineer has an engineering degree, that makes him an expert witness. And so I've several occasions worked with lawyers, but we actually haven't gotten to court yet. The lawyers that I worked for have always won, but I unfortunately never got to court to say I've been recognized as an expert witness. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of our folks who are consultants seek that expert witness, but it's also good just if you're called up to the stand as a safety director to be able to have that credibility.
Well, absolutely, and as you say, it's a third-party organization recognizing your skill set. And let's be honest, it's a great thing on your resume.
Absolutely.
Not that we're encouraging people to switch jobs or anything, but it is a third-party recognition that, hey, you know what you're talking about.
Absolutely. It's a third party when you're applying for the job. If there's two candidates, one with a certification, one without, it may give you the leg up against somebody who's not certified and kind of set you apart. And we've noticed that there's a fair number of companies here in the United States. I can't speak for whether this is true in Canada or not, but there's a fair number of companies in the United States that have made the CDS a requirement if you're going to work as a safety director for their company.
I have not yet seen it as a requirement. I have seen it under the preferred settings, and I know several companies that if they were to hire you and you don't have it, you're going to get it.
Right.
Because they want their safety director to have that designation. So who delivers, or how do the students get hooked up with NATMI course? Because obviously you're in Denver, Colorado. Not everybody's going to fly down to Denver to get NATMI certified.
Correct, yeah. So we work in partnership with state and provincial trucking associations all over the U.S. and Canada. So we've got courses going on in multiple locations at different times of the year in different states and provinces. And Ontario Trucking Association puts on courses with NATMI. Atlantic provinces and others do as well as some partners that we have in Canada, like KRTS, which offers the NATMI training programs.
Let's not leave out Kim. We got to get
yes.
the KRTS. Well, because that's where I facilitated a lot, as well as in the Atlantic provinces.
Yes, absolutely.
And if anybody's listening from the West, wouldn't we like to go out west, Jeff?
We certainly would, and I'm be very excited to offer programs in conjunction with either the British Columbia provincial association or the Alberta.
Yeah.
We have offered them in Alberta previously. It's been a while, but to date we haven't offered anything in BC. So I'd love to do that.
Well, BC and even Manitoba and Saskatchewan.
Sure.
They have a lot of trucking companies as well out there, but we have done it in Alberta, as you said. In BC, I don't know why we haven't gotten out there yet. Be interesting.
Me neither. Yes.
Well,
if you know anybody that wants to get one started there, I will happily put something together.
It would be, and I'm sure you've heard of Humboldt down in Colorado, the unfortunate accident that we had up here in Canada with our hockey team headed to the playoffs. There was recently a new lawsuit launched here that is suing the bus company because it's one of the survivors on the hockey team is suing the bus company now. And you probably heard that the truck driver himself ended up serving, he was sentenced to 8 years in jail. But, it's going to be interesting following that lawsuit here in Canada. I wonder if the director of safety for that bus company has any designations, what can be presented in court, and just be interested, as a safety guy,
Absolutely, yeah. And we do have a format of our program that has been designed specifically for the bus industry as well too. We worked with the American Bus Association and the United Motor Coach at one point, and if their company wants to put something on, we can talk to them.
Well, absolutely. I think that's hugely important that anybody who uses our highways now in North America, that's a fleet, they need to have their safety people certified in something. And I don't know what it's available for bus and truck, or for bus. Certainly for truck, this is the only thing. NATMI's program is the only one that I'm aware of for North America that's recognized on both sides of the border. So
that's correct.
What would a CEO, from their perspective, why should a CEO send their safety person out to get their NATMI certification?
Yeah, that's sort of the bottom line when it comes to, if you want to go through the NATMI training, will my boss support it, is the first question that most folks ask when they're wanting to apply. And one of the things that we realized early on was that sort of just selling the warm fuzzy aspect of it to what are the benefits to the individual safety director wasn't necessarily enough to sell the CEO, right? So we did a study on certified individuals and asked some questions around, did NATMI programs directly enhance your ability to do things like analyze safety data, improve your driver training program, improve your safety program, developing policies and procedures, and actually, more importantly, reducing the frequency of vehicle collisions or preventing employee injuries. And we were really happy to see that in that survey that we did of certified individuals, that they said, yes, in fact, NATMI's programs had a direct impact, not sort of an indirect, but an actual direct impact on their ability to improve their safety programs, to develop policies, procedures, comply with regulations, reduce their frequency of vehicle collisions, and prevent employee injuries, all of those things. And we had some great quotes from some of the open-ended responses on the survey that said our driver retention has improved because of things we learned in the courses. We were able to reduce accident losses. We had a reduction in our insurance premiums and lost time accidents. We had a reduction in hours of service violations. One said that our litigation costs went down. And they said this is because the severity of the accidents went down and all our departments are working together in a better way and management is more responsive, which you love to hear that. And another person wrote that they reduced their collision frequency and related costs by approximately 55% over a 3-year period from the things that they learned in the program.
That's huge.
Yes.
So, I mean, definite payback to the CEO.
Yeah.
It goes back to one of the things that I've often said, that a company employees do what the company owners want them to do. And
Right.
when the company owner takes actual steps to say, not just verbally, but actual steps and money and actions to say, I want to run a safe company, and secondly, a compliant company, it has a huge impact on the bottom line. Are you aware about insurance in both Canada and the States right at the moment for trucking companies?
Well, probably not as well as you are. So,
Well, I just want to. You understand that it's a very tough market at the moment.
yes, very tough market. Right.
I mean, I don't work in the insurance field anymore, so my information is very much like yours. It's third party, but it is very, very tough. I understand on both sides of the border right now, and I know that certification costs money, but the payback, as you just alluded to, is more than a great investment.
Absolutely. For the small investment that you make in the program, I mean, if you just even were able to reduce a couple of workers' compensation claims, or reduce accident, even one accident, you would more than pay for the course itself. And
10 times over, I would suggest.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's definitely a great return on investment.
Yeah. And Jeff, what else should a listener or watcher of this know about NATMI and the programs that you offer?
Well, I think one thing I always try to impart with regard to the NATMI training programs is, really what makes NATMI different, and that most industry training exists to advance a commercial interest. They're trying to sell a product, or the training programs themselves, usually associated with other types of programs and products that they're selling, and there's nothing wrong with that. But NATMI is a nonprofit organization, dedicated to continuing education. We're designing. We put a lot more effort into instructional design, which costs both time and money. It's not. It kind of eats into the profits if you're if you're trying to do that as a profitable business, to put as much time and effort as we do into the instructional design. And so, we believe that the quality of the instructional design and the way that the courses are taught makes a big difference in terms of learner retention and outcomes. And so we really start with an outcome focus in mind. We design and deliver the courses with the idea that we want to reduce accidents and injuries. And so the course content is really built around how do we achieve that end. And it's very practical. It's not a lot of theoretical. I mean, you've been the courses. They're based on real life scenarios. We do a lot of role plays and hands-on scenarios that people look at, to analyze accidents, analyze injuries, and put together ideas for programming to address them, and learning how to use systems and quality management and things like that to apply to safety. And so that's, we really believe that both the design and delivery are critical in maximizing learning and achieving the outcomes we want. So we put more effort into it than the typical organization would, since that's really what we're all about.
Well, and the other thing I would offer as well is that it's a North American-based program. However, it is customized for each country.
Correct.
The hours of service, for instance, I don't know if NATMI in the States, the CDS program anyways, talks about Canadian hours of service or not. But in the Canadian program, we talk about the hours of service on both sides of the border as one of the items.
Correct.
Instead of OSHA, In Canada, we talk about workers' compensation or WSIB. Different names,
Right.
And they've all been updated and changed. So just in case a Canadian's listening, don't think it's an American course, and if an American is listening, don't think it's a Canadian course. It's the same course, but slightly different, I guess. How do you describe it? Because it is the same course.
Yeah, if I was to yes, it is. So the way I would describe it is the general principles around safety management are the same no matter where you are. I mean, we could be offering it in South Africa, and it would still be
or in Mexico.
A lot of the same content. Or in Mexico, and it would be a lot of the same content, right? When it comes to fleet safety, the same kind of principles and practices apply regardless of where you're located anywhere in the world. What's different is regulations. What's different is, regulatory bodies that may regulate the industry locally. And so that's where the differences lie in between the programs is where there is sort of universal concepts, we are exactly the same. But where there's differences in terms of local regulations or the way their regulatory bodies are set up, that's where the differences are. And if there's something that doesn't apply in the U.S. that does apply in Canada or vice versa, then we keep it that which does apply in Canada, and that which doesn't in the U.S. and vice versa. So that's really where the programs differ. The other thing is in some of the scenarios, the references are to in the U.S. version, it'd be a reference to some highway in Kansas or something, and in the Canadian version, it'll be someplace outside Toronto or something. So those are the key differences and how we kind of do it. Well, the key principles and practices are the same in both, but when it comes to the more specific local regulation and things like that, that's when it gets customized.
Yeah, and having taken my CDS program in the States, as I said, in Denver, it's the exact same stories or situational situations, but the names changed. As you said, the highway name changed, or the city changed, but it's the exact same information for the background.
Right. Exactly. Right. Yeah. The exercise itself is pretty much the same, but we've changed the names and faces to.
We made it local.
Exactly.
Yeah. Excellent. Anything else, Jeff, that a listener or watcher needs to know about NATMI?
Yes. If you're interested in finding out more about the certification process and the program, as well as the other courses that we offer, you can visit our website at natmi.org, www.natmi.org. And all of that is everything we talked about in this podcast can be found on the website pretty much too. There's in fact quite a bit greater detail on the specifics of the process of how to get certified, and in case listeners are interested.
Yeah, and there are, for some of the courses, prerequisites, and that can be found on the website. And of course, I'll put a link Absolutely. To the website in the show notes, so you can just click down below. But also the other thing that's on the website are the schedules for Correct. The different offerings. So whether it's here in Canada or throughout the States, the schedule is always up to date and on the website. Yes.
Yep, that's absolutely correct. And we update the website in real time, so anytime a course is added, we add it immediately to the website, so you can know that, if it's not on the website, we don't have anything scheduled. and if it is, then that's everything is current that's on there.
Yeah, that's perfect. So I'll put that in the show notes. So the link, actually I'll probably put 2 or 3 links, one direct to the schedule, one direct to the general website, a couple of different ones.
Sounds great.
All right, Jeff, thanks so much for being on the Dawg on It Trucking Podcast.
My pleasure.
All right. We'll talk to you again soon, I'm sure. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Chris.
I hope you loved the show as much as I did. Please leave us a like, a thumbs up, a review, a comment, a rating if it is in your heart. Thank you so much. And I do really appreciate your time. And join us again next week for another exciting interview.